beats, scoring films. I'll get this one scene that I'm gonna put together while I'm talking about this, so that way I can not make the video so long. But I mean, they're both fundamentally different crafts with different goals, workflows, and skills. And they have their points. Beats are the foundation of a song. They're meant to stand on their own. Their drive and energy behind an actual song. They support the vocals and the main event. Film scores, they service the story of what you're seeing on the screen. Make sense? So everything that's happening on the scene, the music can change with every different movement in the screen. Also, another point, it allows me to create more original music, whereas, sometimes beats can be repetitious. They can be, they have a structured format. A film score, I can just be all over the place. The music services, like I said, what's happening often, the audience barely even notices it. A great beat demands attention. Oh, that's hot. All the head nodding, and it demands attention. And a great score, it earns it without even saying it. It's not even in focus. When you hear a great score, or even when you're listening to, check out your next movie. When you're listening to something happen, you'll hear the music in the background, but it's not taking over the whole film. There are other points that I'm going to bring up as far as, structure, form, timing, and tempo. It just allows me to change and be more original and actually keep a whole lot of things going on in the actual composition that I'm doing. All right, so I got this one ready. What I'm going to have into tonight is this particular scene. Action scene. They've accepted the job. You know how when you get those little action teams, all right, we're going to do it. They're packing up the equipment, they testing it, practicing how they're going to run the mission and other stuff like that. So it's a little high energy scene. They took the job. Let's get into it. All right, here we go.